Hello and welcome. You're watching me, Sanket Upadhyay, on the Federal. The show is called AI with Sanket. This is the AI of news because news in India today requires not artificial but analytical intelligence. The one issue which has captured not just the imagination but the fear of Indians is E20. E20, is it damaging my car or not? There are many experts who say that yes, it's like a medicine which has a slow release option. It is not going to kill your car instantly, but it is going to slowly poison all the components, especially the older versions, the cars that were not made, or any vehicle that was not made for E20. But if you speak to the government, the impression that will be given is that there is absolutely nothing wrong, and all of this is nothing and nothing but misplaced anger and propaganda against the government. Anger and agenda against the government, purportedly being fueled by the petrol lobby. Now, a series of interviews were given by two ministers in the Union Cabinet who are doing the heavy lifting on E20. And I happened to watch those interviews, and because in E20 parlance there is 80% petrol and 20% ethanol, these interviews were 80% angst and 20% facts. That was the blending that we saw take place in all these interviews. Now, how do experts look at this? We've heard the government. Let's go back to the experts. I have two such experts right here with me. We have Mr. Amit Khare. He's the founder of Ask Car Guru. It's a very famous platform where you can get to know everything about vehicles. Please do watch his channel. You can also, introducing my next guest, Nikhil Chawla, watch his platform as well. Insanely popular on Instagram. He's also a noted columnist, not just speaks about auto, he also has great proficiency in tech and technology. So his platform is also, I don't know why I'm introducing you guys. You're way more popular than I can ever imagine. But thank you very much for joining us on this all-important issue. I want to begin with you, Mr. Amit Khare, first. I'm sure you must have seen these interviews by the two ministers in the government. You see, there is no point naming them because the idea here is not politics. The idea here is a commentary on the policy. So zero politics, maximum discussion on policy. What was your initial impression when you heard these ministers angsting and grinding over the fact that this whole conversation around E20 is much ado about nothing?
Actually, I haven't seen any petrol lobby right now. Whenever that Indian Distillery Association is there, which is known for the ethanol lobby. So I don't think there is any evidence that the petrol lobby is present or they are funding the influencer and all such things. I don't think so.
I get your point. You're saying that whether a petrol lobby exists or not, one doesn't know. But there's certainly an ethanol lobby, which clearly influences policy. I remember in your previous interviews, you've mentioned this. Nikhil, just quickly coming to you.
Yeah.
You see, very many pointed questions were asked of the government. Number one, about E20 damaging cars. Number two,
Correct.
About why is E20 as a fuel being forced down the people's throat? There are clearly vehicles right now in the country that are E10 compliant, E5 compliant. So why E20 is the norm? Then there was a question about an unreleased ARAI report, which is the nodal agency that carries out this research. And to all these questions, I had the same formulation from the minister. 80% angst, only 20% facts. What sort of blending is this, Nikhil?
See, the thing is, as you mentioned, we're not talking politics here, we're talking about policy. I just wanted to reiterate that the government was very hell-bent on forcing upon EVs upon us first, and they said this and that, and especially if you live in Delhi and NCR, you know that there were like 10 years and 15-year rules where even if your car was perfect, you would have to let go of it, and you have to let go of your diesel cars even after 10 years, even if you have driven like 10,000 kilometers in 10 years, doesn't matter. Even if it's fit, doesn't matter. You have to just go, let go of it. Then came EV, and there was like chicken and egg story. Is the infrastructure ready? Should we get the EV? And as somebody who has to recommend cars, it has become tougher by each day. Now, this E20 and ethanol policy, now they wanted to replicate Brazil. And in Brazil, it was very well done. You still have an option from up to E10 till E100, but it is as a consumer, the choice of the consumer, which fuel do they want. And you have to follow that. And also, the if you're trying to replicate a specific country when you launching a policy or launching something, then what you need to do is also replicate the benefits that were passed to the consumers there. So if somebody was going for E80 or E75 or E100 or any kind of fuel in Brazil, the pricing was really differentiable, and you could really sense that there is a benefit in getting in that done. And of course, if your car supports that, then only you will get it done. For example, if I'm driving a 1 crore German car, I don't want to go with a E20 fuel. I want to pay 50 rupees extra, but I want pure fuel. That's not a choice anymore. You'll have to go with what the government is forcing upon, which I didn't really like. Last I checked, we lived in a democracy, and we should have an option to decide what fuel we want for our car. If the car is E20 compliant and I'm okay with letting go of a bit of a mileage, I'm okay with E20. But if my car is, for example, 2018 Mercedes or a BMW and it is not compliant, what do I do with it? I just let it die in front of my eyes like a slow poison with the fuel pump failing and all of those reports and videos that we're seeing all over the internet. Is that the right thing to do? Is this the right policy to like be forced upon? I don't think so. And then we saw manufacturers coming up doing press conferences and saying that vehicles after 2023 are perfect, they should work fine, and earlier vehicles are doing fine. They haven't reported any problem with the engine or fuel pumps or anything. But if you see the other side, the consumer side of the story on the internet, it's very different. They're saying the cars are dying. They're saying they're stalled on the road. And it's again a safety issue. If you're driving at night, your wife and children driving at night, and the engine stalls at middle of the night, middle of nowhere, it's a safety issue also. And of course, then the cost being added and getting your car fixed, and people put in a lot of effort. It's not like a smartphone that you go and buy every year. You buy a car for 10, 15 years at least, but that is not happening every time. I have to recommend a car. I'm really kind of confused. Should I recommend right now? Will there be a change in policy? Will it be again going like all electrics in after next year? All of these things are very confusing. And manufacturers came in and said that's fine. But the problems we saw were in German cars. We saw Skodas and VWs stalling and all of that. Nobody came. And why was Mahindra and Tata were not there? I mean, that they were the biggest player in the industry. Why did they not hold a press conference, or why did they not come out and say something about it? You can't just bring Japanese car makers who are very confident about their vehicle and engine and reliability and come out and say, our cars are doing fine. What about the others? What about the Indian manufacturers? What about the German manufacturers? What about the car makers that are making cars from other countries? Are they not reliable? Are they not compliant? What is going on?
No, fair enough. And that is the point, Mr. Amit Khare. These are questions that need answers. But unfortunately, we see a blending of angst and facts that are being presented by the government. Many of these questions were asked. For instance, a question was asked on giving people choice. And
Absolutely.
the answer to that, Mr. Amit Khare, was that you don't give people a bad option. You should always give people a good option. And E20 is being hailed as a good option. It's not a choice anymore. If somebody has an old car, you need that old fuel. E20 is being hailed as a good fuel. Yeah, this question was from Amit Khare. I'll just come to you, Nikhil.
Actually, problem is this. Government don't want to give options to us. They have espoused the XP95 or 95 octane fuel. They have separate dispensers for that. Even the market right now, government want to push E85, but don't want to go back to E10 with 95 octane fuel, as they have new policy that all fuel should be not less than 95 octane. So why not you will provide it E10 with 95 octane as you supplied previously before 5 years, before 7 years? This is the main issue. Government don't want to go back.
Yeah, and Nikhil, it's so funny because I don't understand. So when the government was asked this question that had you let this 2030 deadline, had you followed a previous deadline of introducing E20, it would have been more attuned to the country's fuel needs. By then, a majority of E20 compliant cars would have been on road. The E10 or the old cars would have automatically been phased out, and it would have been easier for you to make that switch. We celebrated the fact that we have achieved E20 early as a big achievement, 5 years ahead of schedule. But you see, what is being touted as a celebration is actually a problem on the ground. And that is a question which went unanswered in all these government interviews. Nikhil.
Absolutely. I mean, you can celebrate as much as you can, but again, I would say tomorrow you can't just get up and say that you can only buy milk from Amul, not Mother Dairy. It's as simple as that. It's a human right. You don't even want to get into the quality of air and the quality of water because that's also human right. But I'm not going to get there. Again, it'll become very political. But what I want to say that the choices should be still ours. You want to celebrate. You want to roll it out 5 years before the deadline. Very good. But again, I still have an E10 vehicle. I want to put the fuel that will not kill my car. And that is the angst of a lot of people who are still. The plan was really good to 2030. Most of the E10 cars would have rolled out, phased out, or would have really lived their life and spanned out. But now, 5 years earlier, 4 years earlier, it's just kind of forced upon. Again, I'm reiterating the fact that you want to go Brazil where you want to go the other countries where please go ahead do that, but again leave the option to people. People are ready to pay extra money for clean fuel. By clean I say because there is a lot of mixing also happening in terms of when you're getting that ethanol fuel. It's not just mixing of ethanol. There's a lot of problems that are getting because you need to add special additives to make your car function properly. People are not aware of it. People are not adding it, and you can see the wear and tear, and you can see the mileage drop. That is all fine, but if your fuel pumps are dying, your engines are gonna kind of poisoned out, that is not good. We need to have an option. That's all.
Exactly. So this question on choice remained so badly unanswered, Mr. Amit Khare, so badly unanswered, which is, I feel, a wasted opportunity. The minister should have given a satisfactory reply on why no choice, rather than saying, oh, it costs a lot of money to go back. First of all, this is not about going back. This is a need.
Yeah.
It's not like you have progressed to something and now a country will be taken back to the dark ages if we go back to E10. No, it's a requirement. And then to say that we will have to rewire and reprogram. So you cannot cite a problem that you have created as the problem because of which we can't give you a solution. Amit, do you feel that this entire debate will end if there is one nozzle of E10 in each and every pump?
Actually, this is crisis had generated by the government only. Peoples never want E20. They had never asked for E20. Even neither elite class, neither lower middle class people, no one want E20. But government force due to some impression of or some pressure from the ethanol lobby or whatever that things. But actually sign is that government should accept the thing that the peoples want E10 fuel at least. Not we are asking for the E5 or E0 fuel so badly. We are asking for E10, which is just common 2 years back. So why not is it possible? As in democracy, we have option to buy our own choices, either on toothpaste, on shirt, on pant, on car. Why not on fuel? This is the main scene. And government is just pushing that you all are false. They are only right person. ARI report says something, Niti Ayog says something else, but these two ministers stick on that thing. The E20 is good, fair, and the best fuel right now. This is the main issue.
Yeah, so very clearly a fuel is being thrust down the throat of the vehicles of this country, which it is not meant to handle. And Nikhil, I'm sure as an auto journalist and a columnist, you are also aware of the Niti Ayog report which Mr. Amit Khare is talking about. Page number 60, paragraph 4 of the CM letter to the government, which is part of the Niti Aayog report, which clearly mentions that please do have E10 nozzles. Even if you introduce E20, you can't just remove it because it will have disastrous consequences on older vehicles, especially smaller engine cubic capacity, which means all the two-wheelers. Now in Delhi, 67% of the vehicles are two-wheelers. Two-wheeler runs the vehicular population of this country. The national average would also be pretty similar.
Yeah.
So why is it that CM in 2020 had something else to say, and CM members in a government manicured press conference in Delhi are saying something totally different, and the ministers are only focusing on what these manufacturers said on their stage and not mentioned anything about that letter? And when you ask this question, then again there is an angsty reply. That is my problem, Nikhil.
So the question is, if the report by Niti was right, or is the report by CM right, or what is right? Because one is saying something, the other is saying something, the manufacturer is saying something, the ministers are saying something else. We don't have a cohesive reply to the questions, the queries, and the angst of the people. So either you say that that was a test that we did few years ago and that was not right, accepted. You don't want to do that also. Now you don't want to say that the report that came much later is right or wrong. Again, the question comes that, whatever the reason is, for geopolitical reasons, that we had to, you know kind of cut down on import bills and fuel imports, and roll out ethanol. Great, do that for the country. I'm all in. But the problem is, again, choices. It all boils down to one thing. We need to have options. We need to have the fuel that our car is prescribed to have, because the cars that are not even 10 years old, 6 years, 7 years old, still would need a E10 fuel. Their sensors are different. They'll have errors. They'll have problems, and these are expensive cars. So all is good. You want to launch E20, you want to launch E85, just have one vehicle that supports E85 right now, but that's all fine. But again, we need options. And I think the debate is going to end at that only, that consumers need options. Whatever car they have, whatever fuel is prescribed for that car and was advised by the car manufacturer at that time, is what we should be served. And then the insurance companies will jump in. Nobody will take the onus that, this happened, that happened, what happened because of the fuel. All of this is never ending debate. The only option is, right now the government, it's not a failure if you roll back. I'm not even asking them to roll back. You add another option, what was already there. So it's not like a failure if you add another option. Your E20 is still rolled out, and people who want to go with E20 will keep doing that. People
Yeah, Nikhil,
in the
and also
future will
this
need
whole talk
85.
about the minister saying that, oh, I'll have to reset my whole infrastructure, it'll cost lots of money. Even now in petrol pumps, you
Yes.
have the option of diesel, extra premium diesel, petrol,
Correct.
extra premium petrol, XP100,
Power, whatnot.
XP95.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Yes.
you have different dispensers.
Absolutely. And
So it's not
it's
rocket science.
something, exactly. It's not rocket science to, change your composition of fuel and just roll it back and, give one tank the fuel that everybody needs. That's about it. That's not something that you have to like overhaul the whole system and then do it and reprogram everything to do it. So I just don't kind of agree with that statement where you have to reset everything to give you the fuel that you were already serving just 2 years ago.
Mr. Amit Khare, see, I am not even getting into the agricultural side of it, that water level depletion and
Yes.
what crop, and you see that will be a debate for a very different day. Right now, I'm only concentrating on ethanol and its impact on vehicles and what are the actually valid questions. The last part of our conversation, this conversation, I am going to keep on mileage, because it seems that the only one thing where the government admits that there is a problem is the mileage of your vehicle. But the manner in which it is being positioned and promoted is that, oh, only 2-3%, just 5%. And these figures also range from, when you ask this question of the government, they would say, you see, there are greater factors. Your driving style is also responsible for your mileage. Traffic is responsible. Potholes are responsible. You see, for everything else, I can blame myself. Even though
Yes.
potholes are not my... If the government made good roads, and Mr. Amit Khare, if there was no traffic jam, the nation would save more on fuel. forget the citizen. You will have to import less fuel. So you don't even need E20 benefits. The problem over here is the manner in which this mileage debate is being positioned is as if it's a very small price you have to pay. What about that trust? What about that contract, unspoken contract with a vehicle manufacturer who gave me a figure when I bought that car, and now I'm not getting that figure for no fault of mine? Amit,
Actually, government lose the trust due to these false commitment. People's on road suffers a lot. Actually, small cars, small vehicles like two-wheelers got difference between E10 to E20 is nearly significant, 10 to 12% on ground condition. They haven't changed their driving style. They haven't encountered with the extra double
this is very
traffic or
significant.
whatever
Mr.
that
Amit
thing.
Khare, one moment. I want to stop you here and understand. You are saying that the actual on-road mileage drop being experienced by two-wheeler drivers is as much as 10 to 12%.
Yes, this is the fact. And on the behalf of the cars, take to understand that we have cars from 800 cc to 2000 cc or 3000 cc cars up to 1500 cc. Everyone noticed it. 8 to 10% minimum drop in fuel efficiency. Above than 2000 cc fuel engines, they hardly notice. 2%, 3%, 4% might be possible on bigger size engine, but below 1500 they all are be not in good shape. Engine, another thing is the fuel pump. Fuel pump is getting clogged. They refuse to supply fuel to the engine. Even filters have been clogged. Fuel tank got many contamination like water and other things also. So the scene is not good for the Indian two-wheelers or for the cars.
Nikhil, my final comment from you on this point about mileage. Do you think that the only thing that the government seems to be admitting that there will be a mileage drop? The ministers also said that just slight difference in your maintenance of the car also. If gaskets were to be replaced at 50,000 kilometers, now they will have to be replaced at 30,000 kilometers. As if this is
I think
a small price to pay. So, Nikhil, your comment on this mileage and maintenance argument?
see, the cost of living is anyways going high, and people who have to get their car serviced know the actual pain of it, and they know that the cost will go high, and the wear and tear is going high because of no fault of theirs is even more hurtful, because when you're buying a car, you're putting your hard-earned money in it. And as you mentioned that, these cars were meant to last for longer, but they'll not last as long as they would and should now. And of course, the replacement of things also means that when you open something, you have to like repair a lot of things and put it back. So as we all know, these mechanical things tend to falter when you do so much of playing around with that, tinkering with it. So that is something that will definitely affect. And again, why not subsidize hybrid cars if you really want to promote green fuel and you want to cut down cost and fuel cost? Why just push EVs? Why not hybrid cars which are giving almost double the mileage of a regular petrol car? I fail to understand some of the things, why what the thinking process is and what the thought process is. Because in America, if you look at it, since last 2 years, they have been promoting hybrids like anything, and they're like, well, we sold quite a lot of EVs, but hybrid is something that we should have as a transition to EVs. We really didn't do that. We just from petrol, diesel to straight away jump to EVs. Why are not we giving hybrids a chance? And customers also to experience how it works in terms of mobility when it comes to electric and powertrains together, and then maybe move towards
I think
EVs
in the
now.
new Delhi EV policy, Nikhil, I'll tell you, because I have spoken to a lot of people in the government and policy makers, and they say that hybrids are transitioning technology. So to
We didn't do
invest
that.
very heavily on a transitioning technology is not a good idea. So
They're not investing
let
heavily.
it be as a bridge, but eventually move on to something more permanent. That is the argument being given, Nikhil.
And like you mentioned, the two-wheelers, almost like 60% of two-wheelers are facing the brunt. And maybe that's why we have such a great EV policy from next year, that we won't have any petrol two-wheelers from next year in Delhi. So the problem is sorted. We don't need to put any fuel in them. We just charge them and drive around.
Right. Lots of questions. If only the ministers could take a few follow-up questions and answer them with, I would say, sincerity. Right now, what we are seeing from the government, this E20 pushback from the government, on the pushback by the people, it seems that their arguments are based more in angst than in facts, which is why we thought of getting this program and let our audience listen to the experts of what they have to say so that you can make up your mind. Thank you very much, Nikhil Chawla, as well as
Thank
Amit
you so
Khare,
much.
for joining us. Thank you so much.